let's look at this. Unknown quantity, both need more. So Patrick has some sweets to give to his classmates. If he gives 12 sweets to each classmate, he will need 120 sweets more. If he gives 7 sweets to each classmate, he will need 5 sweets more. How many sweets does Patrick have? Now when you read this question, it's almost similar to the previous one where there are 2 ifs. Okay, but then you need to go and this time locate for one word, or rather 2 words which indicate the word need more. Okay, so let's look at this. You see, notice there are 2 ifs, and he will need 120 sweets more. Okay, so now we are going to use the same drawing technique, but before that, ask ourselves these 2 questions. What are the 2 constant variables? What are things that are fixed actually? First, the first sentence will usually indicate to you. So one is the number of sweets. Second is the number of classmates. So what are you trying to distribute here? Sweets or classmate? You are distributing sweets. So we're going to start with sweets first. Okay, so if this is number of sweets, right? So the number of classmates is the one that we're going to use a symbol. So this time around, I'm going to use a symbol star. Okay, unlike the previous video, I'm going to actually use the word stickman, so you can actually use other symbols except for circle. Remember we talked about that because circle looks a bit like 0. Okay, so what do you understand about the word more? Does it actually have enough? No, right? It doesn't have enough. So the first if and the second if. Now for this one, I need you to be a bit more careful because the first scenario, he actually gave 12 sweets. The second scenario, he gave 7 sweets. So first scenario, actually more sweets was given. So I'm going to break up this 12 with 7 plus 5. Later on, you'll see why. Okay, so first scenario, he gave 12 sweets, but I'm going to not start with the first if, I'm going to start with the second if. It will be easier. You will see why. Okay, when I draw this, I need it to be beyond this. Because why? He didn't actually have enough to give. Okay, he wanted to give more than he had. So he wanted to give 7 sweets, 7 to each of his classmates. Okay, then over here, if he were to do this, how many more does he need according to the question? He will need 5 sweets more. So from here to here, this is what he has, right? So from here to here, indicate 5 more needed. Okay, now the second scenario. Okay, maybe I draw it a bit shorter so that I have a bit of space here. Yeah? Okay, just draw it till here. Okay. Now, first scenario, I'm going to go backwards. He actually gave 12 sweets. So, he didn't stop at giving 7. He gave how many more? So, I wrote this statement. 5 more. 5 more. Okay. Now, just be very careful. This is the line that he actually has. He needs 120 sweets more. So, where is it from? The number of sweets he has all the way to the end. Now, just like the double if which is left over, I'm going to look at this extra part. Now, do I know the amount here? No, because here to here is 120. But I notice this is actually 5. So what can I do to find this? It's actually 120 minus 5 is 115. Here to here is 115. So 115. So to give 5 to each of his classmates, he actually needs 115 sweets. So to give 5 to each of his classmates, he needs 115 sweets. So how many classmates are there? Divide. And answer should be 23. So what does this mean? If you're not so sure, you can put it here. But number classmates. So don't be quick to stop. Check again. How many sweets? You're not looking at how many classmates are there, right? So we can use the first scenario or the second scenario. Which one would you do? Which one would you pick? Up to you. But I think the second one seems easier, right? To give 7 to each of the classmates. So 7 to each of the classmates. 161. Just remember, this one is from here to here. Does he actually have 161 sweets to give away? No, that's not what he has. He only have until here. So minus the 5. 156. So this is the answer. Now, you can actually do a check also by looking at the first scenario. So there were 12 given to each classmate. So I'm going to take 23 times 12. Okay, 6, 4, 0, 23, 6, 7, 2. Then after 276, what do? 120, he didn't have enough. So becomes 156. You notice it's the same answer. But because this is a check, I'll just put a tick.